Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Morning everyone. I hope you all in a good condition. So we are from 6 group that consists of me, myself. My name is Anugrah Irawan and Afidah nuraini warohmah, Ananda, reka, putri, and Nanang pujian. First of all, I would like to say thank to our lecturer, Mr. Novian Fakih, who has given us a good time, a good opportunity to present our material today. Our material today is assessing writing. Genres of written language. First, academic writing. Academic writing is a formal style of writing used in universities and scholarly publication. The writer will encounter it in journal articles and books on academic topic, and the writer will be expected to write your essays, research paper, and dissertation in academic style. Example: essay, research paper, thesis, dissertation, lab report, and etc. Job-related writing. Job-related writing serves 6 basic functions: to provide practical information, to give fact, not impression, to clarify and condense information using visual, to give accurate measurement, to state responsibilities precisely, and to persuade and offer recommendation. Example: letters, email, report, advertisement, and etc. The third one is personal writing. Personal writing is a written work that describes the event or experience of one's life in an informative and engaging way. Personal writing can be a form of anecdotal, based on personal experience, storytelling, and often impart some kind of lesson or wisdom to the reader. Example: text message, tweet, letter, greeting, invitation, diaries, and etc. Types of writing performance. This kind is some like the level the writing performance. The first one, imitative. Basic test of writing letter, word, punctuation, and brief sentence. This category includes the ability to spell correctly and to perceive phoneme and grapheme correspondent in the English spelling system. The second one is intensive. Beyond the fundamental of imitative writing are the skill in producing appropriate vocabulary within a context, collocation, and idiom, and correct grammatical feature up to the length of a sentence. The third one, responsive. Here, in the responsive, assessment tasks require learner to perform at a limited discourse level, connecting sentence into a paragraph, and creating a logically connected sequence of 2 or 3 paragraphs. Tasks related to pedagogical directive, list of criteria, outline, and other guidelines. The last one, extensive. Extensive writing implies successful management of all the process and strategies of writing for all purposes, up to the length of an essay, a term paper, a major research project, report, or even a thesis. Writer focus on achieving on purpose, organizing and developing ideas logically, using details to support or illustrated ideas, demonstrating synthetic and lexical variety, and in many cases, engaging in the process of creating multiple drafts to achieve a final product.
micro skill and macro skill of writing. The earlier micro skill apply more appropriately to imitative and intensive types of writing text, whereas the macro skill are essential for the successfully mastery of responsive and extensive writing. Micro skill produce grammatical and orthographic pattern of English. It produces writing at an efficient rate of speed to suit the purpose, and it also produces an acceptable chord of word and use appropriate word order pattern. Microskill use acceptable grammatical system like tense, agreement, pluralism, and pattern and rules. It expresses a particular meaning in different grammatical form. And microskill use cohesive device in writing discourse. Whereas about macroskill use the rhetorical form and convention of writing discourse. It appropriately accomplishes the communicative function of writing text according to form and purpose. It conveys link and connection between event and communicates such relation as main idea, supporting idea, the information, given information, generalization, and exemplification. It distinguishes between literal and implied meaning when writing. Macroskill correctly convey cultural specific reference in the context of the writing text. Also, it developed and used a battery of writing strategies such as accurately assessing the audience, interpretation using pre-writing device, writing with fluency in the first draft, using paraphrase and synonym, soliciting per instructor feedback, and applying feedback when revising and editing. Designing assessment tasks, imitative reading. Many beginning English learners from young children to adults need basic training in an assessment of imitative reading. The rudiment of forming letter, word, and simple sentence. Tasks in handwriting letter, word, and punctuation. There is some issues that handwriting has the potentially become a lost art. Even very young children now are more likely to use a keyboard to produce writing. Making the shape of letter and other symbol is now more a question of learning typing skill than of training the muscle of the hand to use a pen or pencil. A limited variety of task types are commonly used as a person's ability to produce writing letter and symbol. A few of more common types are described here. First type of task is copying. There is nothing innovative or modern about directing a test taker to copy letter or word. The test taker will see something like the picture above. The test taker copy the following word in the space given, and then they read like bit, bad, 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 bin, din, gin, pin, and another. Next is listening close selection task. This task combines dictation with a writing script that has a relative frequent deletion ratio. The test sheet provides a list of missing words from which the test taker must select. The purpose at this stage is not to test spelling, but to give practice reading. To increase the difficulty, the list of words can be deleted. Bad spelling might become an obstacle. The example is in the sheet. test taker will here read the missing word in its blank. Below the story is a list of words to choose from. Next task is picture cute text. Familiar picture or any other picture are displayed and test taker are told to read the word that the picture represents. Assuming no ambiguity in identifying the picture like cat, head, chair, table, or any other, successful completion of the task require no reliance on oral comprehension. Form completion task. In this task, a variation on picture is the use of a simple form like registration or application that asks for name, address, phone number, and any other data. Assuming, of course, that prior classroom interaction has focused on filling out such a form, this task becomes an appropriate assessment of simple tasks such as writing one's name and address. Next, conveying number and abbreviation to work. Some tests have a section in which number, for example, hour of the day, dates, or schedule are shown and test taker are directed to read out the number. This task can serve as a responsible, reasonable variable method to stimulate handwriting English. Yes, it like authenticity, but however, in that people rarely read out such a number, and it is more of a reading task about recognizing the number than a writing task. If you plan to use such a method, be sure to specify exactly what the objective is and then proceed with some caution. Like in the picture, test taker will here fill in the blank with word, and they see 9 p.m., Tuesday, and any other. So they must read what the number meaning. Next, spelling test and detecting phoneme correspondence. A number of text types in popular use assess the ability to spell word correctly and to process phonemes correspondence. Spelling test. In traditional spelling test, the teacher dictates a simple list of words, one word at a time, then use the word in a sentence and repeat the sentence that allows for the test taker to read the word. Scoring emphasizes the correct spelling. You can help to control for distant error by choosing words that the student have encountered before. Next is picture cute text. Pictures are displayed with the objective of focus on familiar words whose spelling may be unpredictable. Then items are chosen according to the objective of the assessment. But this format is an opportunity to present some challenging word and word pair like good, book, broad, red, and any other. Multiple choice techniques is very general technique. It's presenting word and phrase in the form of multiple choice text list, crossing over into the domain of assessing reading. But if the item have to follow up writing component, they can serve as formative reinforcement of spelling convention. Next is matching phonetic symbol. If students have become familiar with the phonetic alphabet, they can be shown phonetic symbol and asked to read the correctly spelled word alphabetically. This work best with letters that do not have one-to-one correspondence with the phonetic symbol. And the following sample, the answer, which of course do not appear on the test sheets, are included on bracket for your reference. In the example, text taker will read in each of the following words, a letter or combination of letters has been written as a phonetic symbol. Read the word using the regular alphabet. Such a test risks confusing students who don't recognize the phonetic alphabet or use in their daily routine. Opinion is mixed regarding the value of using phonetic symbol at the literacy level. Some claim it helps students perceive the relation between phonemes and graphemes. Others caution against using yet another system of symbol when the alphabet already poses a challenge, especially for adults for whom English is the only language they have learned to read or write.
Okay, I am Afidah warohmah, with student ID number is 2042000055. I will explain about designing assessment tasks or intensive writing. Dictation and dictocam. The form of controlled writing that deals with dictation is the dictocam. Paragraphs are read at normal speed, usually 2 or 3 times. Then the teacher asks students to rewrite paragraphs from their base memory. Become one of several variations of the dictocam technique. The teacher, after reading section, distributing leaflets with keywords from paragraphs in sequence as a signal to students. In both cases, the dictocam is actually classified as intensive. If unresponsive, read assignments. Test takers must internalize reading content, remembering some phrases and lexical items as keywords, then recreate the story in their own words. Grammar transformation task. Many versions of the task are possible. Change the tenses in a paragraph. Change the full form of the verb into the reduced form contraction. Turn the statement into a yes or no or with a question. Turn question into statements. Combine two sentences into one using relative pronouns. Change direct speech to indirect speech. Change from active to passive voice. Grammatical transformation tasks are easy to perform and therefore practical, have a fairly high score reliability, and arguably make use of knowledge of grammatical forms performed through writing. Picture cue tasks. The main advantage in this technique is in realizing almost everywhere read and write connections and over nonverbal means to stimulate writing responses. Short sentences and image of some simple actions is shown, then examine write short sentences. Test takers see in the following pictures. Pictures number 1, 2, and 3. Test takers read 1. What is the woman doing? 2. What is the man doing? 3. What is the boy doing? Test takers write she is eating. She is eating her dinner. She is holding a spoon, etc. Description A, somewhat more complex picture, can be presented showing, say, a person reading on the couch, a cat under the table, a book and pencils on the table, chairs around the table, lamp next to the couch, and picture on the wall above the couch. The test takers are asked to describe the picture using the following four prepositions: on, over, under, beside, and around. As long as prepositions are used correctly, criteria are considered to be met. Picture sequence description sequences 3 to 6 are pictures depicting storylines that can provide a suitable stimulus for written production. The drawing should be simple and unambiguous, as it is an open task in selective level. Okay, for example, test takers see the pictures, then text takers read. Describe the man's morning routine in 6 sentences. Test takers write, he gets up at 7 o'clock. He takes a shower at 7:05. At 7:20, he gets dressed. Then he eats breakfast. About 7:50, he brushes his teeth. He leaves the house at 8. The following are some test takers' responses to the first picture. He gets up at 7, he gets up at 7, he is getting up at 7, he wakes 7 o'clock. The man is arise at 7, he sleeps at 7 o'clock. Sleeps on morning. How would you rate each response? With the scoring scale above, the first response is a 2, the next 5 responses are 1, and the last earns a 0. Vocabulary assessment task. In foreign language class, the tool that is often used in assessment is reading. The main technique used to assess vocabulary is defining and using words in sentences. Read 2000 suggests several types of items to assess basic knowledge of word meaning, possible collocation, and derivative morphology form. The example is centered on the word interpret as follows. Test takers read 1. Write 2 sentences A and B. In each sentence, use the 2 words given. Number 2. Write 3 words that can fill in the blank. 3. Write the correct ending from the word in each of the following sentences. Ordering tasks. One task at sentence level may appeal to those who are fond of word games and puzzles. Ordering or reordering a scrambled set of words into a correct sentences. Here is the way the item format appears. Test takers read, put the words below into a possible order to make a grammatical sentence. Test takers write 1. The weather is cold in the winter, or in the winter the weather is cold. Number 2, what are you studying? Number 3, the clock is next to the picture, or the picture is next to the clock. Although this somewhat inauthentic task results in right performance, and it can be said to take advantage of the grammar, word order rules, it presents a challenge for test takers whose learning styles do not lead them to logical mathematical problem solving. Some justification for it arise if sentences are made very simple, as in item 2, with maybe not more than 4 or 5 words. Only one possible sentence can appear. Students have practiced the technique in class. Short answer and sentence completion tasks. Several types of short answer tasks are discussed in Chapter 8 because of heavy participation of reading performance in their completion. Such items range from very simple and predictable to somewhat more complex responses. These examples illustrate the possibilities. You can read it yourself.
Issues in assessing responsive and extensive writing. Responsive writing involves the development of sentence into paragraph. The purpose depends almost exclusively on the context or function of writing. Example activities at responsive level include short report, interpreting visual aid, and summary. Extensive writing is responsive writing over the course of an entire essay or research paper. The student is able to shape a purpose, objective, main ideas, conclusion exactly into a coherent paper. Some widely debated classic judgment issues. One is authenticity. The content validity needs to be answered in order to bring out the best in the writer. The teacher becomes less of an instructor and more of a coach or facilitator. Assessment, therefore, is typically formative, not summative, and positive aspect is more important than practicality and reliability. Secondly is scoring. The score is a difficult problem because there are several evaluation options such as how the writer write the word, how the function of the writing is, how the quality, impact, and effectiveness of the writing is, and the third is time. The freedom to process multiple drafts before the text becomes a finished product. Designing assessment tasks, responsive and extensive writing. The first one is paraphrasing, the second is guide, question and answer, and third is paragraph construction tasks. Include topic sentence writing, topic development within a paragraph. 4 criteria to assess the clarity of expression of ideas or logic of the sequence and connection or cohesiveness or unity or the overall effectiveness or impact. And include development of main and supporting ideas across paragraph. Designing assessment task number 4, strategic option, attending the task, attending the genre, and the last is standardized task of responsive writing. Standardized tasks include writing component, the TOEFL, MILAB, PTE, OUTLET, and other. Thank you.
Scoring method for responsive and extensive reading. Holistic scoring. Each point on a holistic scale is given a systematic set of descriptors, and the reader evaluator makes an overall impression with the descriptor to arrive at a score. Descriptors usually follow the prescribed pattern, which score from 1 to 6, with description in each score. The advantage of this method is fast evaluation, relatively high iterated reliability, the fact that scores represent standards that are easily interpreted by layperson, and the fact that scores tend to emphasize the reader's strengths and applicability to reading across many different disciplines. But the disadvantage of these methods is one score marks difference across the subscale within each score, and there's no diagnosis information is available. This scale may not apply equally well to all genres of writing, and the last is writers need to be extensively trained to use the scale accurately. Next method is analytic scoring. Classroom evaluation of learning is best served through analysis scoring, in which as many as 6 major elements of writing are scored, thus enabling learning to home in on weaknesses and capitalize on strengths. Brown and Bailey present the scale of its major category has descriptors that differentiate 5 scoring levels. The order in which the 5 categories are listed may bias the evaluator toward the greater importance of organization and logical development, as opposite to punctuation and style. But the mathematical assignment of the 100-point scale gives equal weight to each of those 5 major categories. Analytic scoring of composition over writer a little more respect than the others. The score is in major element help control well written attention. The last method is primary trait scoring. Based on Wiggle, this method is focused on how well students can rate within a narrowly defined range of discourse. It almost goes without saying that organization supporting detail, fluency, syntactic variety, and other features will basically be evaluated in the process of offering a primary trait score. The advantage of this method is that it allows both writer and evaluator to focus on function. In summary, primary trait score assesses to the point